This next example is a kind of classic old word problem. I'll read it for you here. It says, "How dare you marry her, you dirty old man? You're 3 times as old as she is." "Ah," he replied, "but in 20 years I will only be twice as old as she." How old are the man and his bride to be? Okay, this is a classic old-time word problem. You want to start off by trying to fully understand the problem. You have a man who right now is 3 times as old as his prospective bride, and in 20 years he's going to be twice as old as his respective bride. The next thing you're supposed to do is determine how old the man and the bride to be are, and you can't let X be how old the man and the bride to be are, because you can only let X be one thing. So you're going to have to pick one of these things to let X be. If I let X be the age of the old man, he's 3 times as old as the bride, and I'm going to need a way to write the age of the bride. Now that's not too tough. If he's 3 times as old as she is, then she's 1/3 as old as he is, so you could say X is his age and 1/3 X is her age. But suppose we take the other tack and let X be her age. Then since he's 3 times as old as she is, his age would just be 3X, which is a somewhat simpler expression. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let X be the age of the bride. It makes no difference. We're looking for both of them, so I'm just picking one. Let X be the age of the bride to be. And then we're going to need an expression for his age. So he's 3 times as old as she is, so 3X is the age of the old man. And at this point, we don't really know that he's all that old a man. I guess that depends on your perspective. Most men aren't very old compared to me. He might be 30, he might be 40, and if you're 18, you think that's real old, but if you're 60, you don't think that's so old. And now we have to address what else is in the problem. Well, the other thing that's in the problem is what's going to be the situation 20 years from now. The X and the 3X represent ages at this time. We would like to have ages 20 years from now because that's where our next clue is. In 20 years, he'll be twice as old as she will be. So I need an expression for her age 20 years from now. And it would be nice if I had an expression for his age 20 years from now. And then I could use my clue about him being twice as old as she is. So, well, if her age right now is X, then 20 years from now her age will be X plus 20. For instance, if she's 18 now, in 20 years she'll be 38. If his age now is 3X, then his age 20 years from now will just be 3X plus 20. So that's not so hard to figure out, and now we can use their ages 20 years from now to complete the problem. So I'm going to write up something 2 ways. I'm going to say write 2 ways. Her age 20 years let's see. I think I'm going to take this tack. We'll go back and look at this other option in a minute, but it's going to be a little bit easier if we write 2 ways. His age 20 years from now. We could do it with her age, but it's going to turn out to be easier if we do it with his age. Okay, we already have one way to write his age 20 years from now, so that's the easy way, so I'll put down 3X plus 20. And the question is, how else could we write his age 20 years from now? Well, 20 years from now, his age will be twice her age. And her age 20 years from now is X plus 20. So 20 years from now, his age will be twice x plus 20, or twice her age. That's not twice her age now, it's twice her age 20 years from now, so you have to use her age in 20 years, which is x plus 20. And both of those represent his age 20 years from now, so since they both represent the same thing, they have to be equal to each other. So we write his age 20 years from now is equal to his age 20 years from now, or twice her age 20 years from now. And now it's just a simple matter of finishing off the problem mechanically. We'll go ahead and finish it up. 3x plus 20 is equal to 2x plus 40. X is equal to 40 minus 20, or 20 years old. So she is 20, and he has to be 60 because he is 3 times as old as she is. Well, what about 20 years from now? Well, 20 years from now, she'll be 40, and he'll be 80, and sure enough, his age will be twice her age 20 years from now. I started to write two ways her age 20 years from now. If I wrote her age 20 years from now, two ways. One way to write it would be x plus 20, and since he will be twice as old as she was, she would be half as old as he is. So her age 20 years from now would also be half as old as his age 20 years from now, and his age 20 years from now was 3x plus 20. So I could use the equation x plus 20 equals 1/2 3x plus 20, and the only reason I didn't was because it introduces the 1/2. That's not really a problem, as we set up her age 20 years from now equals his age 20 years from now. That's two terms on the left, one term on the right. Common denominator 2, so we just say 2. Cancel those. 2 times the left side is 2x plus 40. And I think that's the same, yeah, that's the same setup equation we had before. Okay. What if in the beginning of the problem, instead of letting x be the age of the bride-to-be, you just kind of quickly gone with your gut and said, let x be the age of the old man. Then x over 3, or 1/3 of x, is the age of the bride. And then his age 20 years from now would have been x plus 20. And her age would be x over 3 plus 20. And then you'd have gone ahead and proceeded as before. You could set up his age 20 years from now is twice her age 20 years from now. That would be a little bit more complicated in your solution, not very much more complicated, however. The way we set it up, we did it for economy. Our final answer was achieved right here. She is 20, he is 60, because the problem asks, what are both of their ages now? So you want to give an age for the man and the girl for your final answer. Make sure you're boxing the answer that is the answer to the question, and we'll call it an end to this one.